Australia's first Indian magazine to have a national reach, Indus Age is the largest circulated South Asian magazine in Australia with 5 simultaneous editions, 55,000 copies printed monthly, 220,000 readers, largest network of clients, undisputed leader in community news. Indus Age is circulated in Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane and Perth to over 525 outlets. Grab your copy now to get the latest on the community, news from India, Bollywood, music and much more. For more info, log on to www.indusage.com.au.
Hello everyone, I'm Karishma Bhojwani and welcome to Indus Age, an Australia-wide Indian newspaper and magazine. We're here today at the Jaipur Literature Festival in Adelaide and I am sitting with somebody whose reputation precedes her. She is bold, tells it like she wants to, and doesn't mince words. She comes across less as a feminist and more of a well-rounded, progressive woman who knows where her priorities lie. Yes, I am talking about India's one of her most top-selling author, the very stylish, woman of substance, Shobhaa Dey.
Namaste. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for joining us here today, Shobhaa. It's such an honor to meet you.
Thank you.
I must say I am a little starstruck as I've been following you since a kid.
Thank you.
So I'm going to jump straight into the questions.
Yes.
So, 70 and so beautiful.
Thank you again. Yes.
What is the beauty secret?
Well, I think you have to be born into a certain gene pool, and I can't claim any special credit for the way I look, though it's always wonderful when people come and compliment you. But I also believe you look as good as you feel. Yeah. So I guess I feel really good, and I feel 70 for not just for myself, but for any woman a woman of today who's aware, who's fit, who's productive, who's got a mind and the energy and the interest in life. There's no reason for her to look anything other than her best.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. So inspiring. So tell us, how did this all start? I heard in one of your interviews that all you wanted as a young girl was a happy marriage. So how did all this happen?
A happy marriage and a large family, which had really my desire to have just that stated on the cover of Femina when I was maybe 16. It disappointed my father so very much. He said, what kind of an ambition is that? Any woman can get married and have lots of children. You should have said something like other girls say, which is like, I want to be a pilot, I want to be an engineer, I want to be a doctor. And I said, well, that would be the icing on the cake. But my primary goal was to have exactly what I have today, a wonderful large family and 5 grandchildren, a 6th one on the way. And
congratulations.
Yes, thank you. It's the most fulfilling aspect of my life.
That's so beautiful to hear. So it sounds like you've been brought up in an environment that is quite encouraging to speak your thoughts or to have more ambition. So is that the kind of environment that you would brought up in?
Well, it was definitely a conservative background, but with that I must qualify that my father was a very progressive man, as was my mother. So with the siblings, not just myself, we were encouraged to express ourselves in ways that at that time were quite unconventional. So my siblings also chose disciplines which were, well, they were academically better suited to. An ophthalmic surgeon, one of my sisters, another was a lawyer, my brother was an engineer. I picked athletics, modeling, and then went on to a writing career. So it was very conducive to have support systems that didn't exactly stall you in your dreams, because we're all entitled to dream, and even if they didn't understand my choices, they did not in any way impede my dreams either.
That's so beautiful. That's great to hear. So 70 and to hell with it. What an amazing title. Can you tell us what inspired you to write this book?
Well, I also feel that women are often stuck in a cage called age. And I wanted to let women know that 70 is definitely 70. It's not 50, it's not 60. And there are changes which you have to accept. But we are not done yet. I mean, we are 70, but we are alive. We have minds. We still have a lot of dreams. We have a sense of adventure. And they mustn't think of 70 as the end of the road. They must think of it as the start of another kind of journey. Of course, you can't go trekking in the Himalayas even if you want to, but nothing can stop your mind from trekking, right?
That's
You
so
can keep
beautiful.
discovering things inside your head and living in a realistic way, but
Yeah.
without ever giving up on yourself.
That's such an inspiration to women who are 70, and a lot of women would say, "Oh, I'm done."
I'm done. Never. You're never done. You're not done till you're done, which is the final done. Yeah.
That's such an inspiration. So, what do you most enjoy about being 70, and what do you look forward to?
What I most enjoy is suddenly feeling unshackled of everything. You know, I feel I've lived my life on my terms. I really don't have anything to complain about. When I look back on my life, there aren't that many regrets, a few mistakes, but you know, everybody makes those and you live with them. And today I feel it's my time. I am ready to do what I wish to do and prioritize myself a little more. Because raising a large family, the responsibilities never end, they still don't. But I think the family is also much more accommodating. The children, they understand that, you know, mother's got to do what a mother wants to do. So I'm in Adelaide, where I could have been at home the last day of Diwali, which is very special to me. I skipped that for the first time in my life to be here. So
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. And I hope that they understand. I think they do. So the choices I make today are very different from the ones I made at 60, but the enthusiasm is the same.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
How do you manage your family life and your career? Because you seem to believe in both very much.
Very strongly. I'm committed equally to both, but time management is something I think I'm pretty good at. And the day I decided after I had my first child that I would work from home and not be in a full-time career, which needed me to leave the kids and go off and to an office and adhere to timings, I think I worked much harder and I understood productivity and efficiency. So I learned how to maximize my time. So I work from home. That's my office. My dining table is my office. And while you have a laptop, you can be anywhere in the world, really. And writing is one of those things which are not really in that sense. You're not a performing artist where how you look is so key. As a writer, I don't have to be concerned about any of it. So it is something that I enjoy doing, and because I work from home, I'm accessible to my kids, my family, my husband, my friends at all times. So to manage that is, for me, hasn't been that much of a, what shall I say, I haven't had to compromise. Yeah.
Wow. Lovely. Okay. So, you have been a king and a queen maker from the time of Stardust. Over the years, who would you personally rate as a real star?
Oh, tough. If you were to ask me for an international name, and it doesn't have to be from Bollywood or Hollywood, right? Person with incredible star quality is President Obama. And I found him to be one of the most charismatic people in the world. So he is a star in every way, in his life, everything that he represents. If you're talking strictly Bollywood, I would say at the moment it would be someone like Deepika Padukone, because she is on top of her game. And she's a girl who started off not as an actor, but look at where she's reached. And she's made her sensible decisions. She's getting married in the next few days. She has star qualities, and when she walks into a room, you definitely want to know who she is. Yeah. And from amongst the men right now, the leanings are it's the pickings are a little lean. There were stars in my time who, when they entered, whether it was a Rajkumar or a Vinod Khanna, Rajesh less so, which he delivered much more on screen. Amitabh Bachchan, of course, who continues to own everything that he walks into, which is fantastic. But from the younger actors, there are actors I admire a lot who may not have star quality, but they deliver hits. And really in Bollywood, that's what matters. Someone like an Ayushmann Khurrana or a Rajkumar Rao, and Irfan Khan for that matter, Nawazuddin Siddiqui. They don't fall into the star category, but they are supreme actors and they're wonderful on screen.
Beautiful. So where do you think Bollywood is heading?
Well, it's much more corporatized, it's much more professionalized, and they are making fantastic, smaller, independent films. I think the real stars of Bollywood today are small town India, and whether it's a Meerut or an Agra or a Varanasi or any northern smaller town, Jhansi, there was a film that was shot quite recently in one of these locations. And three, I forget where that was shot. I think it was somewhere in where they make those Chanderi saris. So these are suddenly being shown on the big screen, and people are discovering their own country.
Yes.
So it's going beyond just Kashmir and how beautiful Kashmir is, or the glamour of Mumbai. Even Delhi is being exploited as a location. The smaller areas of Delhi, not the glamorous Delhi. And I find that very interesting, because we are falling in love with India all over again. We are falling in love with our own country because of Bollywood.
That's so true. I feel like Bollywood is kind of like
a bridge.
A bridge for so many people outside of India. So what are your thoughts about the Me Too movement?
Well, I've written extensively on it, and I have been a very strong proponent of putting systems in place so that women and men have a more equal workspace and don't have to encounter abuse of power, physical abuse, discrimination. At the end of the day, it's really about equality and a level playing field for all. And nobody in the world needs to put up with anything that is disrespectful. Yeah. We just need to redefine those very areas that were ambiguous in the past, where was it flirtation, was it oppression, was not clear. Yeah. I think it's very clear today, and I hope that the movement doesn't die a premature death, and it has to be sustained, it has to be built on, and it has to be maintained at the same tempo. Yeah.
So you've done so many different things over the years. Which of your achievements are you the proudest of?
I hope it will be something I do in the future, because if I start thinking about an achievement, it's already past tense. And then I have nothing really to look forward to. And I think that leads to a sort of deadness within you. If you think I've done it all and I've seen it all, I think I've done very little and seen very little. And there's just so much more that the world offers. So who knows?
Beautiful. You're such an inspiration to so many young girls. What is your message to the young girls out there?
Well, for me, it has always been just one message, is to believe very strongly in your own potential and to make the most of it. And to grab the opportunities that come your way. Don't let gender be an issue ever in your life. Never think of yourself as being less in any way than anybody else, even another woman, and certainly not less than a man.
Yeah.
So the minute that self-belief gets into your system, you work that much harder to achieve whatever your objectives are, and you start dreaming big. You start dreaming for yourself. And you find that, wings that you thought you didn't possess, you actually have them, and you can keep flying higher and higher with those wings. Yeah.
Even for me.
Oh yeah, thank you.
I'm feeling so inspired right now.
I love that. Thank you.
Such a good message. So I'm gonna jump into the rapid fire round now.
Oh no! Oh my God! Do I get a hamper at the end of it?
There's coffee in macaroon.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So, the most fun part of your job?
Meeting people, travel.
Person you admire the most?
Tough, very tough. On many levels, I'd say my husband, because he's a self-made man. He's very dynamic. He's close to 80. He's still working. And I like a lot of his qualities. And I admire him, yes.
So nice. One thing that annoys you the most?
Vulgarity. And I mean that not in terms of the words that are used, but a vulgar way of living, of flashing wealth, or showing off a big car, or talking about what you possess. I find that extremely déclassé. If you've got it, you don't have to flaunt it.
Your biggest addiction?
Oh, that's again tough. Biggest addiction. In a simple word, it would be movies, because I think movies are like flagposts. They tell us a lot about ourselves. Even the so-called stupidest Bollywood commercial Hindi film is still telling you something about your own life, and is holding up a mirror, and you got to see beyond the silliness of it all as to what is the subliminal message, and there's always one. So movies are my, I guess, my nasha, my fixation. I love movies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bollywood movies or?
International cinema on the
Cinema.
whole. Yeah, I'm very attracted to it. Yeah.
Your favorite movie?
I have quite a few, but if you were to ask me to name a Hindi film, it's not a very recent one. There are two Hindi films which I can watch every year, and I do. One is Pakiza, and the other one is Bobby, because there is such innocence in it, and the love story, which is so fabulous. The music is so fantastic. And in the last few months, I've seen a lot of the smaller films, like Bareilly Ki Barfi, for example, which I loved. And I'm looking forward to going back and watching Thugs of Hindustan, because I missed it.
Yes. One thing that you are most afraid of?
Failure.
Advice that you got that was most rewarding?
It would probably be the advice my father gave me when my first book came out, to always stand by your words, to stand by your work, to not let critics in any way deter you, to stay true to yourself.
Okay. Yeah. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I am a Mumbai addict, so even though I have had options and choices to move out, I love Mumbai too much. But if, just as a fantasy, if I were to think, it would have to be Florence in Italy. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I would love to even have a second home in Tuscany. And
oh wow,
yes, yeah.
It's your favorite place. What impresses you?
Integrity, sense of humor, certain savoir-faire, or kind of sophistication in your thinking. It doesn't have anything to do with the way you dress.
Yes.
It's the way you conduct yourself. It's your behavior. And I find that refinement is very attractive. Very.
The hardest part about being a mom?
Gosh, I face a trial every single day. I think it's to be seen as being completely fair to 6 children.
Wow.
That's tough.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Okay. And the strangest thing you've ever been asked?
Oh, or told. Normally it has to do with a personal comment. So at my age, they'll probably come and say, what sort of work have you had done to look the way you do? And people don't feel shy of even coming and asking that. And if I say that I don't believe in any procedural work, any intrusive surgery, they find it, they sort of gasp, and
they think it's not true.
It's not true, or whatever it is. But I tell them that my lines are my pride and joy, because they speak about my life, and I wouldn't ever trade in my lines for a smooth, wrinkle-free face ever, not even at 80.
That's so beautiful. All right, thank you so much for your time, Shobhaa.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
It was such a pleasure.
Such a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I'm
Kat.
Karishma
Thank you.
Bhojwani from Indus Age, and we'll speak to you again next time.
Australia's first Indian magazine to have a national reach, Indus Age is the largest circulated South Asian magazine in Australia with 5 simultaneous editions, 55,000 copies printed monthly, 220,000 readers, largest network of clients, undisputed leader in community news. Indus Age is circulated in Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane and Perth to over 525 outlets. Grab your copy now to get the latest on the community, news from India, Bollywood, music and much more. For more info, log on to www.indusage.com.au.